Hello everyone! Welcome to Dark Souls 3. My name is Tynaeus Vane. So, there are a few things that I'm going to be talking about. This is not going to be the typical video. Today I'm going to be talking about the DLC that is coming to Dark Souls 3. The Ashes of Ariandel. The Ashes of Ariandel, it was announced a couple weeks ago. Well, more than a couple weeks ago. I'd say almost close to a month ago. So I've had a little bit of time to think about it, gather thoughts on, gather my thoughts on what my expectations are, what I hope to see, etc. First off, this is to kick it off. This character is actually something I'm trying out. This is a Cestus build, punch things. Its weapon art gives me a little bit boost of poise, so I'm able to eat a hit, maybe charge up a right trigger. R2 for PlayStation users out there, but this is just kind of a video to... I'm kind of trying things out. Dark Souls 3 has been out for quite a few months now, so I would really want to kind of try different things, new builds. I found the set. I was originally going to be using this as a kind of a halberd build, but I started using the Cestus, and I'm like, that's really cool because I can punch people to death. I also recorded a few clips from on the share system on Xbox One, where punching one of those crabs in the forest right through the mouth as a critical strike. Oh man, that was so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to maybe trying this character in the DLC. Probably not going to work, but you can always hope. So in preparation for the DLC, I'm trying out new things, looking for different items to kind of help me with that. Looking forward to maybe discovering new things, new items, and thinking about what I'm going to find. That said, a little bit about the DLC. The DLC, is called The Ashes of Ariandel. The trailer for it was released a while ago. And, like I said, I've had time to think about, what my expectations are for this DLC. To kind of start off, the trailer revealed that it was a snowy place. There's new enemies, there's new weapons, there's new spells. Those all look fascinating. They really do. There's this one spell, it's supposed to be like a blizzard, kind of like a wind tunnel blizzard kind of thing, which looks awesome. Don't know how viable it is, but there's also another weapon which resembled a little bit of the Pontiff Knight curved sword. The one where its weapon art is you press in the left trigger, then press the right trigger to kind of make a giant snowy scythe kind of thing. Well, more like a scimitar, but you get what I mean. But a little bit about what I think the DLC might entail. It starts off with this guy kneeling in the cleansing chapel right outside the Chapel of the Deep, or I completely forgot the name of it. Chapel of the Deep, I'm going to say. So, Cathedral of the Deep. Can't think of the names for churches anymore. But I've been thinking a lot about, there's a guy kneeling there, so obviously that's kind of where you start. I'm thinking about, how do you start the DLC? Do you have to... Maybe you have to kill the Deacons of the Deep. Maybe you have to kill the Lords of Cinder. Honestly, I don't know. So, what all can I be expecting from this guy kneeling in the cleansing chapel? Like, what is his purpose there? I think he's there asking... I believe in the trailer he's asking for help, or saving... It's kind of like, like every quest giver. It's like, I'm looking for help. I'm looking for something like this. but he gives you a piece of what looks like canvas. So they also have this painter girl in front of a canvas. So, and obviously, it has some. I say obviously, but it leads you to assume it has something to do with the Dark Souls 1 painted world of Ariamis. So it kind of it leads around into it's probably bringing back something to do with the painted world from the original game. Am I excited about that? About the expectation or the assumption that, oh, we're going to have this now. Like, we're going to be having another homage to the original Dark Souls. My initial reaction is yes. Because I love it when these games, like, come together in some weird fashion. The story interacting, just kind of interlinking with this one. I've expressed my thoughts about it in my playthrough of the game. Like, first off, the giant tree right there, like, that has something to do with Dark Souls 2, meaning that the game had some impact on this game, or at least they took stuff from that game and were like, yeah, let's put it in there, because it's a good idea. It seems like it ties things together. On the other hand, though, it seems to be relying a lot. This game itself has relied a lot on nostalgia. Like, it's played a lot on the nostalgia of Dark Souls, the original Dark Souls. If it is the painted world of Ariamis, or that's in this DLC, Ashes of Ariandel, you know, what are they playing off of that specifically to kind of give it a little bit more hype, or are they doing it because it's bringing something to a close? It's bringing that story to a close, or maybe it's kind of describing what happened to it. Maybe it's a continuation of that. Maybe, who knows? It's a possibility that it's a continuation of, or the beginning of, the painted world of Ariamis. Again, it's leading to that assumption. I don't know. But sometimes playing off of nostalgia doesn't quite work. There are a few games that relied specifically on nostalgia to kind of make it work. I just had one in my mind a moment ago. But I think that failed Fable game, it was supposed to be like a MOBA style game. Fable Legends, I believe it was called. It was like kind of playing off of Fable. Now, Fable is still kind of a newer title. Well, it's an Xbox 360 title, so obviously it's not newer. But they were kind of playing off of, well, it's Fable. It has to work. But it failed. I think the Elder Scrolls Online was kind of playing off of the success of Skyrim and the other games, and it just kind of didn't. It didn't really, as an MMO, it was great. I loved it. I loved going through the different things, but it just didn't feel like an original Elder Scrolls game. Sure, it had a lot to do with Molag Bal, Cold Harbor, etc., but at the same time, it just sort of played off of the older games. So it was like, yeah, sure, why not? This seems to be working, so why don't we try this? So I'm just thinking, there's a possibility that playing off nostalgia isn't exactly going to work. But then again, on the other hand, that in and of itself might actually be enough for it to be successful. The Painted World was a very amazing concept, because what did you find in there? You found stuff that the gods didn't want you to find, because it could be used against them. Simple as that. The Painted World of Ariamis was literally the place for them to, well, I shouldn't say, it was kind of like their, oh, I don't have it. Darn it. But it was kind of like, whoops. I'm using, yep, I'm dust rest here. but they were using it as kind of a storage area for all the things that abominations. You saw literally half of a both halves of a dragon. It was part of the demons that got released when the witches of Izalith tried to recreate the first flame. There were occult weapons, which were literally god killer weapons. You found judgment armor. You found forbidden pyromancies. You found these crow things, which one of them is actually a blacksmith in Dark Souls 2, which I didn't actually realize until after I actually explored the Painted World of Ariamis and saw one of these crows in a side area. But the point is that, the Painted World of Ariamis was really cool. Like, there was a lot to it. And frankly, the boss of the area, Priscilla, it's like, there was a lot of speculation. There's a lot of ideas as to who she is. And then tying into this game, Yorshka, the tower in the prison tower, the leader of the Dark Moon Knights. Again, that kind of like ties that together. Like, that was kind of like playing off the nostalgia a little bit, but it made sense. It connected the two. The Church of Yorshka is approximately where the painted world, the painting of Ariamis was. Honestly, that's what I assume anyway, because it's kind of in the same place when you realize Anor Londo is right above it. So, what does that mean? Which, it's so enticing that I really, I want to know. Curiosity is getting the better of me. And it's like, I really need to know this. So it kind of leads into, again, it's playing off of curiosity more than nostalgia in that, when you look at it from a Dark Souls 3 perspective. So, there are two sides of it, and I'm looking at the positive side of it. Now, I'm not usually one to do DLC, personally. In Dark Souls 2, I'm still actually considering going through the DLC on that one, just because. But again, I don't know if I will. Like, I'm thinking I will. I just don't know yet, because the DLC for Dark Souls 3 is coming out soon, and I'm going to be going through that. So, but when it comes to DLC, it's kind of like, again, it's a two-sided thing. With the original Dark Souls, the DLC it added so much more. It added Ulasil. It added an entirely new area. It added an entirely new depth to the game. But you had to do a lot of different things in order for you to get to access the DLC, which is why I'm thinking, okay, you have to probably go through a few steps in order for you to access the DLC. Maybe you have to pass a certain point. Honestly, maybe they're just gonna plop that guy right there when you get to the cleansing chapel, when you first arrive there after going through all that stuff at the through the Road of Sacrifices. I don't know, but with the original Dark Souls, you had to beat the Hydra, you had to kill a golden golem, you had to talk with Dusk twice, I believe. Then you had to go to the Duke's Archives to farm this blue golem, which, I'll tell you what, I still have not gotten that item. I've gone through the steps about 4 times, and I still haven't gotten the item to go into the Painted World of Ariamis. Everything about it is secondhand knowledge, like secondhand experience. So, I mean, I can't really say that I've done it myself, even though I've been trying. Not for lack of trying. I've been trying so hard. But, anyway, the point of it is that I've been trying to, like, you have to go through all these steps to get it, which is really good. I really like that in the game. But again, DLC in Dark Souls is a whole lot different than DLC in other games. I'm gonna say with, I'm gonna say, yeah, with a lot of, when I say, like, other games, I'm not talking about games such as Borderlands. With Borderlands, DLC means that you get another story arc that is, it's kind of necessary, but it's not really necessary. It adds, but you don't have to do it. Again, that's the same with Dark Souls. It adds, but you don't have to do it. But it still adds. But with games with DLC, such as the Dragon Ball games, I'm honestly games like first-person shooter games. I'm just gonna say Halo 5 Guardians DLC. No way. I would never do that. It's literally spending money on something that is absolutely unnecessary for me to have fun with it. Also, Halo 5 Guardians. We don't talk about Halo 5 Guardians. With games like Remember Me, if anybody of you remember that, like, I would not buy DLC for that game. Dead Space, I would not buy DLC for Dead Space. Like, it's stuff like it where it seems like it just doesn't add anything to the game besides something I can already get. DLC and MMOs? No. Microtransactions? No. So, like, when it comes to things like that, I don't like them. With Fallout 4, the only two DLCs that I can actually see being really interesting would have been the Far Harbor and Nuka World, which was recently released. But again, through secondhand experience, the Far Harbor DLC was really boring, so I didn't get it. Nuka World, secondhand experience, looks really fun, and it adds a lot, so I'm gonna get it. It's like things like that. I'm one of those guys that likes to take things with a bit of knowledge jumping into it. With Dark Souls 3, I was like, no, I don't want any knowledge of like the first bit of this entire game. Like, I want to go through this game without as much knowledge as possible, because it's that sense of exploration. But with games like, again, first-person shooter games, I'm just like, I need to know what's going on in order for me to succeed, which then adds a whole another level of stress when I'm like, why isn't it working? So, yeah, I mean, it's things like that. Now, bringing it all back to a close is, Ashes of Ariandel, I'm looking forward to it, because it's adding a whole nother level of depth to Dark Souls 3, a game which I love and have been playing for months now. Trying out different things, making new builds. I want to punch people. I want to, I can't really kick people because, unfortunately, I don't have the bone claw like I do in Dark Souls 2. But, it's still that whole sense of it's adding more. It's adding story. Maybe it's adding a closed. I believe I said it before. Maybe it's bringing a close to what happened to the painted world. Maybe it's the beginning of the painted world. Maybe it's something's affecting the painted world, or maybe it's, something is happening. Like, I don't know. But because it's something that I enjoy, like, I enjoyed it. I really did. Dark Souls 3, I mean, that I'm willing to go to all that expectation, to try and, like, figure out if my expectations are founded. I just realized, does that part above my head look kind of like a skull? Like, there, see two eye sockets, and then the mouth right above the hat? Like right there? No? Okay. But anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on what are my expectations, what am I looking at, my thoughts on DLC, because I don't think I've ever expressed that before. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Ashes of Ariandel. Let me know what you guys think about, let me know if you want me to go through the Dark Souls 2 DLC. I will, because I can. That's added stress to my life, but, it's Dark Souls, it's a challenge. Not exactly looking forward to that one, but, anything for the viewers. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. Leave a comment, what you thought. Again, if you want me to go through something, your expectations for the DLC, your thoughts on DLC, and yeah, leave a like if you like this video, or leave a thumbs down, you know, up to you. It helps me either way. So I thank you all very much again for watching, and I shall see you all in the next video. Wait. Bye!